Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with Exile to bring you guys the Tub versus Globalclan. This is RGL Invite Mini Sixes week 5A, and might be a little bit of deja vu because we have seen these teams square up once before in a cast, and it was quite the explosive bout we saw between them on Gullywash, where Globalclan barely took it away 4-3 after a couple failed last push in the Tub's favor, or I guess not in their favor rather. Meant that they were unable to close out the game, but might not be all for naught because of the experience that both these teams have gained throughout that match is coming right back around as we head into another Gullywash match tonight.
That's right. Hello everyone. So it's going to be a mini season here. Week 5A, I think, is right for the mini sixes season in RGL. This is my first time casting a mini season. This is the first time RGL has done a mini season, actually, I think, right? So it's going to be quite interesting to watch. There are going to be some RGL, some roster changes for tonight here that I would like to introduce. Just kind of based off what we saw in the log before the match started here. There are going to be a few roster swaps in terms of classes, but also some additional players coming in, either I think they're subs or just kind of replacing the players who are missing tonight. And I like the changes I see. I see a lot of recurring players that I've played against myself, and a lot of competition between those players, and I'm kind of excited to see how they play out tonight. You want to kind of go over the rosters, Jared?
Sure. For the side of Globalclan, we have Darty and Scratch on Scout, Anthony and Sandblast on Soldier, Penny on Demo, and Yuna on Medic. This is quite the switch up. The only player that's playing the exact same role as compared to the prior match is going to be Anthony. I think Scratch gets a little bit of an asterisk because he's still playing Scout, but it is going to be a complete role swap. So it's kind of the same Globalclan, but not really.
Yeah, a lot of different class swaps there. I'm super excited to watch Anthony play. Like you said, he's the only kind of player on his class in this match previously, and these teams have played against each other before, like you said, back in week 1B. Anthony has been an exciting player for me to watch, whether it be in pugs or even in scrims, playing against him sometimes, even in some cups I've played against him. On a map like Gullywash, that Soldier playstyle that he kind of has and that presence he makes on Soldier is going to be super exciting and kind of exhilarating to watch with that Beggar's Bazooka if people are not really aware of him using that. And I guess I'll go over the other roster that they're going to be playing against. So the Tub roster for tonight, it's going to be Bumble on Flank Scout, Nicholas on Pocket Scout, Pineapple on Roamer. A little bit of a shift here. Instead of their normal Pocket Soldier, which is Alexandris, they're going to have Jaden playing Pocket Soldier tonight. Again, another recurring invite player going to be playing in this match. Aiden on Demo and Indust on Medic. Not much of a roster change based on their previous kind of logs as a team together, but in the addition of Jaden versus Alexandris, it's going to be quite a shift, and I'm going to be kind of curious how that's going to go going into this match.
And then also, technically, Bumbo wasn't even able to play in the Gullywash match in week 1 because they were waiting for a temp ban to expire, so they had Yosh playing in the match week 1, even though he was just a substitute. So there, okay. plus one player that's going to be a little bit different from the Gullywash match. So any references we make in terms of memories of how that match went to try to kind of guess, how this one is going to go, you have to take with a very small grain of salt, because not only are the teams going to try to make differences because it was such a close match that neither of them were probably that comfortable with, win or lose, a lot of potential strategies that might have been pointed towards particular players, dealing with them on the opposing team, or potentially just kind of thrown out the window, depending on who it was.
Yeah, so my experience playing with Yosh as a player, he's a very solid player, very DM aggressive player, has that off-class potential. So having that as not a factor in this match could be a debilitating kind of reason there for the Tub to kind of look for those problems. But I do think there's still going to be a strong fight in this match tonight. And we are currently week 5A, guys, mini season for here, RGL 6s. Globalclan versus the Tub, and I want to make a quick prediction here. I'm not very too seasoned in this current mini season, but I do think based on these roster changes, based on the current standings for both teams, I do think my prediction overall, Jared, is going to be Globalclan kind of taking the win out against the Tub, and my scoreline maybe. I said maybe 4-3 before the match started, but I'm actually going to kind of edge it out, maybe say 5-1 for Globalclan tonight. It's going to be a long OT, though. That's my prediction.
I think it's kind of hard to have a serious prediction, mostly, at least on my end, mostly because at the beginning you kind of think like, oh, okay, The Tub, whatever mistakes they had that had them kind of lose the previous Gully Wash game, they were much more easy to spot with low effort. Doesn't necessarily require a giant demo view compared to Globalclan. Plus, this rematch is because of their picks. You kind of have to respect a little bit their confidence that they must have something kind of cooking up if they're going to be having this idea. But on the other hand, it's like when you see how much Globalclan has changed, it begs the question, okay, one, does this change make any particular plan that the Tub had going into this match is kind of thrown out the window and doesn't matter anymore? So they've kind of, picked this all for naught? Or does that make it even easier because there's such a swap up on Globalclan's side that they're unable to perform in the same way they did prior? I think the only prediction that makes sense to me is to probably assume that it is going to still be at least somewhat close, maybe like a 4-2 or 4-3. But I think calling the victor is kind of coin flippy. I will just go with what I classically do and say if you pick a rematch on purpose, I will respect your view that you're gonna, you think you're gonna win it this time around. I'll say that it'll be the Tub just barely winning, but honestly, anything is possible.
Yeah, those are all very valid points. Like you said, when a team kind of picks the map that they lost on previously against the same kind of team, in a rematch, there's going to be a lot of ideas cooking in that. So that being said, I definitely can see your viewpoint on that. But like we said both prior, it's anyone's game still. It's going to be a very coin flippy setting on a map like Gully Watch, very stalematey, very mid dependent, very kind of cohesion dependent on these last pushes. As we get ready into the first mid of this match here, because we are in currently week 5A in this mini season 6's RGL Invite Globalclan versus the Tub. Take it away, Jared.
Yep, so far, earlier on, like I said, there's a lot of roster changes, but we saw for the most part Globalclan dominating mostly because of their soldier play, but with a complete swap up in both these rosters, we'll have to see how things progress, and immediately we see Red Team going the opposing side, trying to put the damage onto Penny, locking him inside the bomb, comes from Anthony, a lot of damage onto the demo, Aiden and Jaden as a combo taken out, they get Anthony in return, but trying to find more, able to take down Darty, 4v4 scenario, Pineapple will fall as well on the high ground, in favor of the blue team means that the side of the Tub, despite the kills they got, they gave up way too much for it, have to go to their own side of the map. And the first mid will be taken by Globalclan.
I love that aggression that Globalclan took into that mid. As the Tub took that aggressive stance on the Globalclan side choke, they had that counter bomb coming out of Anthony and Sandblast to kind of redirect the pressure back into the Tub, nullifying that push, getting those 3 initial picks, and Aiden being the last to die out. However, Indus being able to live here will secure his team a second hold with even Uber, and we will now take this onto a second hold attempt for the side of the Tub to try and break this second hold in whichever way they can.
Yeah, one thing that was really good for the side of the Tub previously was they had a lot of sniper that was really difficult for Globalclan to kind of work through. And a sniper of their own wasn't working out too well either, but they can actually use this as an advantage with a resident sniper player no longer existing on the side of the red team. They have gone a more classic route. They've gotten 2 players behind in Anthony and Darty, so they will have an opportunity to try to work their way through here. As Anthony, he's taken a lot of damage and will not be able to find his way through to get even near Indus, and Darty will go ahead and escape through the baby door. So they're making moves at choke, the red team. They know that one soldier dead and the other one's really weak. Nicholas will take a ornament, but they want to be here, stay. Never mind.
Great bomb.
They wanted to stay, but the bomb comes in and both medics drop. There's no Uber on mid.
Insane bomb. Indus and Unit trading Ubers there for the soldier bombs on each team, but it looks like the Tub is able to clutch out the mid retake as Sandblast and Scratch both go down in that attempt to hold that mid fight or mid retake on the side of the Tub here. So the Tub now with control of mid, we might be looking for some sort of off-class potential. It doesn't look like they're going to be doing that. However, the Ubers are even, so there could be a lot of downtime to kind of decide what our next play is for the side of the Tub and get that Uber built up again. I've seen a lot of teams take Ubers through chokes fast on this map on just a stalemate situation, but there is 4 minutes to play off of on this NA config side, so we're going to have to see how they kind of play it out in this slow-paced fight.
Yeah, this advantage, I wasn't paying attention. I don't think it should be existing to this degree. They are definitely doing a good job building, though, on the side of the Tub, which certainly helps things if they wanted to do something sneaky with, like, 15% that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to. And judging by their position, I mean, they might be trying to do something. We'll see. They're reaching it now, so if they're going, now's the time.
I think it was just a missed building here. Oh. huge bomb here, but don't get anything here. Pineapple and Jaden trading their lives just for the pick onto Anthony. So Jaden and Pineapple look for that counter, kind of double sack to attempt through the choke, which we've seen teams do before from two soldiers. Doesn't get much attempt there, nothing really. I don't even think Yuna took damage, or Anthony trading for the 2 is definitely worth it there as they try to repeat back into mid. No pressure having Scratch taking the initiative here, taking the stance forward into Bumba as the Tub tries to just play slow in their mid, or on their side of choke here. Sambo's playing drop down, but Scratch finding the pick onto Bumba on their reclass, but he gets the force actually onto Yuna. Yuna Ubering first here, counter Uber coming out of Indus as they chase Globalclan into choke and gets both. Jaden gets both onto Yuna and Scratch here at the end of that Uber. Oh, Penny's gonna die here at the end of that fight. Potential high bomb coming at Anthony with the Vegas Bazooka. Huge bomb, really get the medic. He does not. Huge surf out of Indus. Great surf out of Indus. Great plays out of the Tub here. 4 picks on the side of the Tub with advantage by Indus there. Great surf from Anthony's bomb on the high bomb.
They're just trying to get into last early while they still have 2 players dead. Got to be mindful of all the things that are still set up around here. They've got a level 1 gun that's going to push Jaden up into the wall. Scratch able to take Jaden down. No cap time gained on second yet, so it's not like you can tease the cap and bring people over. That could be the nail in the coffin here. There's only 2 left alive. Indus and Bumba. Indus trying to get the scout speed to go ahead and escape. Have to get off the cap to deny the soldier of Anthony, and actually giving up his life. Never mind. He's different.
Wow.
Takes down Scratch, gets an arrow and lives. That's absolutely huge.
Indus living in that entire thing, keeping that advantage even still after Bumba gets those 2 picks onto Anthony and Scratch, maybe initiating to the next push here onto the side of Globalclan second. As they're able to drive fight on the side of the Tub, they just gave it up into River. Sampras looking to initiate there. He does not want to give this up. Looking for the high bomb. Does end up fading though as Penifras peeking through Shutter ends up backing up though. The Tub clean take on second, and that last push a little bit rushed, but this clean attempt on second was definitely going to be kind of the deciding kind of difference there, and I'm going to hopefully see a lot more of that.
Oh, 10% ad, but look at Yuna's positioning. Yuna's dead. Able to get the medic out of the equation. Blue will have no Uber for this fight, but they've held on to this last situation like this before. Scratch getting taken out, the gun taken down as well. Lubba on the point, bring over both at the same time. Padded by me by the red, capping it up. Pineapple and Jaden making sure the first round goes in favor of the red team, 1-0.
Super clean just rotations there. Those sequence of plays from coming out of both teams really showcasing the dominance that the Tub had in that mid-round fight, onto the mid-fight, onto that second fight transition, even that Uber into last, catching Yuna off guard with that advantage Uber. Just insanely great timed plays and a great opening for the Tub. 1-0 into this match.
Yeah, they tried to go to the opposing side previously. Jaden tried to do a fast rollout. Will not find Penny. Penny was a bit slow on purpose to make sure it didn't happen. And they're once again kind of committing for it. Heals up on the opposing side. Sandblast bombing in, juggling up one of the soldiers, and overall it is a 2-for-2 trade in terms of explosive classes. Heals slightly in favor of the blue team, and the final hurrah between Pineapple and Momo will not be enough to take down Yuna. So far, I mean, Red, they've been really all in slightly different ways on trying to go to the opponent's side, but so far, no dice. They find themselves with Uber, but on their last.
That early pick onto Aiden on that mid for the side of Globalclan became very crucial, and as well as Penifras living into that late end of that fight, able to control that big door presence on the side of the Tub, denying them that retake into mid, potentially on that 4v4, with the high ground advantage, pushing them out of mid completely as they transition into a last pressure here from that mid. Overall, great mid from the from Globalclan. Darty spawning sniper here.
In wood.
Kind of new. I've never really seen Darty snipe before in my recent years, but I would love to see how Darty takes an approach through wood, as you said, peeking main. Pretty obvious sightline for most teams to kind of expect here. As Aiden peeks through it, Darty gets a shot. Great start to this last pressure. Remember, Nick has a gun up alive, and both soldiers are going to be alive for the side of the Tub. Uber just coming out of Shutter from Scratch and Yuna. Exchange comes in from Indus and Pineapple. Just a quick exchange to kill the gun and getting out here. Sandblast recommitting onto Indus, but a little bit early. Doesn't get it on the tail end of that Uber. However, he lives. Scratch comes in through Shutter, gets Indus. Penny killing Nicholas. Scratch cleaning up Jaden as Sandblast trades for those picks, but great initiation from Sandblast there. Opens up this entire point as they take that last pressure. One of Bumba gets cleaned up by Anthony, and that's a 1-1. That's going to be the second round of the game won by Globalclan.
That's a pretty clutch call considering how clumped up the red team was. A lot of the times you'll see teams kind of fan out at least a little bit because they have to cover up a lot of the space from a Doman being dead, but they're still kind of all near the gun and around each other. It was a perfectly good time to just go ahead and bring a scout demo in the Uber. Indus a little bit too far forward in the post around the Shutter and not near the spawn. Will end up in his death kind of being the thing that starts the dominoes beginning to fall. But I think we're seeing a normal mid from the side of the red team this time around. Yuna taking a little bit of damage. They're bombing, but just fading for the side of the red team. Anti hiding a little bit inside of his own big door will finally reveal himself over the point. The flank of the side of the red team is gone forward, trying to launch himself on Yuna, trying to get the first kill onto Yuna for this mid, but it'll be Indust on the other side of the field who will end up falling. Only 3 left alive for the side of the red team as they're beginning to surge forward, trying to find any remaining kills they can. They'll find Scratch over in one of the corners, but Nick will take a singular rocket all the way across the map, and Yuna down to red HP, but not quite enough to get the frag. And once again, it'll be another Globalclan mid.
Another great mid coming out of Globalclan here. Jaden almost clutching out a medic pick onto Yuna. Yuna barely living with on the threshold of their HP, around 20 HP almost. They're guaranteeing that kind of evened out situation for Indus. Nonetheless, though, Indus is a pick on the mid, so this time around, Indus dying, now it's going to be Yuna's turn to take that advantage over into the enemy last, as Globalclan walks back into their second, into their lobby with full advantage. It's going to be kind of a tight squeeze for the side of the tub here. Not quite sure how they're going to try and hold this. Just a standard gun on the right spawn. No pyro, no sniper, just a gun being alive on the right just to kind of slow down that Uber. As soon as Globalclan kind of spots that gun here, they're going to kind of go with the Uber. They go through Shutter onto the gun immediately. Pinifra's killing that gun instantly with the Ubers, and they take right side spawn as Indus is only at 90%. They're going to try and get the Uber in spawn here. No one playing cap, no stick is on point. Pineapple denying the point as best he can. Does get the trade. Gets another trade, and Uber comes out onto the heavy. Bumba on heavy, being able to be kind of that wall on the point here as Uber's fade. Darty and Yuna running out for their lives back to mid, as that Uber didn't work out quite well for Globalclan, as Indus is able to get that Uber and repush for that hold.
A little too ambitious on the side of the blue team as they put 3 people on the point at the same time, and not one of them was prepared for Pineapple just waddling out of secret, just onto the point. Gave enough time for Jaden to get over there as a second string to kind of block the point, and that was enough time for the Uber as a whole. So the timing here for Sandblast, the body shot, will be able to seal the deal. Barely just noticed that in big door, and it appears the red team had no idea of it either. They're actually peeking again for another pick potentially if they show themselves, and they've spotted him for sure. They know he's still hanging around here. Uber available for the side of the blue team if they want to use it. So far, flank play is getting crept up by the side of Pineapple and Bumba, but there are people over by the choke ready for it. The ornament goes out and hits Pineapple. They're trying to surge over towards Darty and take him out of the equation. Gets the pill, wins the fight, and Aiden dies on the backlines as well as they begin to push their way through mid. Didn't need to use the Uber. They've completely outplayed the entirety of the red team throughout both the fight on mid and the back cap attempt on 2. So, I mean, this is a free second. They can just walk straight through and save this Uber for last.
And we should well point out here that Sandblast actually still is on Sniper. I'm not too sure he's running back to spawn, but he's still on Sniper, I think. So he's going to be sniping into last with this full, only 30% advantage as Indus and Nicholas are building so well, trying to stabilize his Ubers the best they possibly can here. It's looking like a standard Uber through Shutter here. Just a gun again on the right side spawn. They're going to get that call early. Scratch takes Uber through the Shutter, needs that extra flash. Gun dies. Very similar to the last push here. They're going to end on right side, but this time Indus gets way sooner. No heavy outside. Uber comes in, get the kill onto Darty immediately. However, Pineapple dies behind Uber. Anthony gets a pick. Uber's now fading, but scratching over the backup potentially onto the medic. Almost gets it. 18 HP on Indus. These medics are living with red HP. However, Indus getting out with a sliver of HP. Very close knit Uber there. Almost kind of throwing it away as Scratch gets the backup, but they end up edging out the win there. But I'm not too sure if they're going to try and push out here as the clock is ticking. Ubers are evening out, but there is cap time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they had people lost, I think Pineapple tried to cut off Yuna and their escape and was unsuccessful, gave up his life for it, and then Indus having to resup, unable to just run straight forward with confidence. Plus, Sandblast never died. That's always still a thing. You can't slowly take 2 if the sniper is just kind of slowing you down even more. The respawners will kick in, and then it's just bad time overall. So, yep, holding it will be, but they know it's only a little bit of an Uber. And Pineapple does a pretty decent job at taking the sniper out of the equation, so you don't have to worry about getting body shot from main or anything like that. For whatever angle he decides to take, you don't have to gamble on that. Especially because Pineapple will be up in time if they decide to push. But no, the 10 ad will not be taken. I think they're a little bit slow on it, and honestly, probably too small to really risk in the first place unless you see the other team out of position fully. So Sandblast will take the opportunity to at least check a little bit. I don't know if he's actually going to walk. He's not going to walk out of the spawn as Spy. So they'll be going for a little bit of a more traditional pressure cook, most likely, as there's not really any pyro to deal with, so that should be pretty easy in comparison, as we're starting to see Anthony go into water, which is usually you see a scout do it, but at the end of the day, if it brings someone over, it could still work. He's on Pain Train, too.
Pain Train soldier, actually, so much cap time. He actually almost clutched that out. And like you said, we usually expect the scout to do it, a soldier bomb coming in, but with the soldier with the pain train, unexpected, more crack pressure, almost gets the cap. Scratch getting that cap time even closer than not getting it. 2 players down. Aiden dying. There could be another attempt here, actually. There could be another attempt here. Penny peeking from River, trapping the point here. Scout on the point, Darty on the point, gets the cap. Oh my goodness, Globalclan, keep that pressure going, getting that cap even closer and closer, and Darty ends up cleaning it up. He gets that pick onto the point and the cap. Great, just great synced up plays there. And honestly, we can kind of expect that going forward. A lot of those synced up aggressive plays for Globalclan, as the 3rd round was won by Globalclan 2-1 in this Week 5A versus the Tub and Globalclan.
They didn't expect the pain train. They didn't expect Scratch going into 2-shotting their soldiers. Aiden, I think, stood on a sticky trap. It was just curtains at a certain point. But new mid, new you, potentially red team still trying to find a way to be victorious here. Pineapple going in, a little bit of distraction. They're bombing in, trying to actually aim for the scouts this time. They put damage onto both of them, but are only sending their own team to the grave as Indus is trying to find a way to cherry his way out of here, trying to get to the exit. It seems like he's able to at least find a little bit of an opportunity, but once again, I mean, there's some alterations to this red team strategy on how they're approaching the mid, but so far they're not really finding anything that's working out in their favor.
I see a lot of soldiers kind of cycling bombs, kind of fading out, one towards maybe big door area, one landing in the choke, so the second soldier ended up committing there in the side of Pineapple, but then there wasn't much of a follow-up after that, as the counter bombs from Globalclan were able to come out as kind of timely mannered, cleaning up those kills, finding the opening, and I feel like Penny is just able to stay alive the entire mid. They're not getting pressured very hard, so they're able to just kind of keep doing that damage for his team to clean up off of. As, again, even Uber's on last, Indus barely getting out of mid with only around 40 HP, with a scout charioting out, like you said, and we're kind of used to the situation right now. We're going to have that gun set up in the defensive spot. Great spam already. Darty on Sniper didn't even notice that same angle, same kill onto Aiden without a demo. We're going to see a lot of backup potential here again here as Anthony crawls onto the point. They might have called him as Pineapple's kind of starting out. Exchange happening on the side of the Tub.
Oh my, Pineapple's just dead.
Oh, great pick out of Anthony. He's going to stay alive, too. They can't even find him. He gets cleaned up by Bumba, but the heavy on Nicholas getting arrow tanked by Indus as Indus tries to cut back into spawn. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much here. However, the cap time is huge by Scratch. Does get cleaned up by Jaden as a 4-for-1 trade out for the Tub to win out here on their last hold. They should be able to try and push out it, but remember, there is a sniper in big door. They walk out. Darty's tucked into the corner. Is he going to find the timing? He does not get it.
So much deja vu. The Tub does not care if you're running sniper in these transitions. They're like, no, he'll miss, it's fine. And, I mean, it worked last match for a little bit until it completely backfired. You saw it right there, it worked. But it's only a matter of time if they keep playing like that in general versus Darty Sniper before they're going to start regretting it. So we'll have to see how things go. They have a little bit of an Uberad to work with, although their posture would suggest otherwise. So they're most certainly prepping for a stalemate. And in a way, it makes sense, considering, you know, Darty is still alive. You'd have to deal with that sniper threat. You'd have to just pop straight through, and it wouldn't be too great. So, honestly, probably the smarter move to go for the stalemate situation, and we'll see how much the blue team incorporates the non-sniper classes into attempting to break the hold.
Darty Sniper has been proving to be very vicious in this game here as he sets up for the big door pressure that most teams do. Gets the wide swing. Is Aiden going to pick up a pick this time again as he did on the last hold? He's peeking the line pretty tight here, but however, Darty missing the shot onto Jaden. Jaden just kind of playing on top of point here, spamming big door. As they rotate out of big door here, though, we're kind of curious what they're going to do next. Remember, there's 3 minutes still left in the clock. They have lots of time to kind of cook something up here. With Darty kind of stancing up in big door once more. Are we going to see potential pushes into mid potentially by a soldier? We're not really sure, but we're going to have a lot of stalemate here as Penny gets very aggressive here, trying to create something for the Darty Sniper. Nicholas kind of beating that aggression head on. Heals on Penny so you can keep basically for free as Darty takes wood. Will we be seeing Darty get to the shutter maybe onto the other side of lobby? Unclear, but mostly just kind of stalemate, kind of scripted-esque pushes going on.
Yeah, they left initially because there was a small, like, choke attempt trying from the red team, but it seems like they're fine. They don't need an extra player to get this win condition for the stalemate. They're able to still get the snipe, And Darty is actually doing what you initially suggested, except he's not just going from the big shot, it looks like. He wants to climb all the way up there, especially because Anthony's there. But red team will use the Uber, going for the exchange. It will pop off in the middle of the big door
Great
area.
pick.
Once again, deja vu. Aiden, he's just a magnet right now, and the red team has no positioning for the post pineapple. Nick all dead. Yuna will end up dying, so it's a good collapse from the side of Jaden. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's a small price to pay for blue team having this victory over 2, and maybe even last. They have some health for it. Oh, Bumble. Oh my god.
Oh my.
Sending him downward into the grave. They have very little here in the tank to kind of defend this, and that really sealed the deal, making it a 3-1 game in Globalclan's favor.
You can already tell that the Anthony scream echoing in his chamber after hitting that air shot onto the scout. It's going to bring a lot of tempo to the side of Globalclan in this round 4. Moving into round 5 here, going to be expecting a strong mid out of the boys on Globalclan. But who knows, the Tub is not out of this match yet. Remember, there is still a lot of match to be played here on Gullywatch Week 5A in this mini season. But we don't see any off classes. I'm trying to look for it, but there's none on this bid so far. 6 versus 6, a lot of slow plays going in. Pineapple looking at drop down. I don't know if they spotted him just yet, but he is peeking through drop down as Darty's trying to hover around that. Aiden getting picked immediately by Anthony through big door. Pineapple look for the counter. Darty might pick up a pick here as he's low in the corner. Aggressive stance on the Tub, trying to take that point pressure. Sample's dying to Bumba, and Bumba cleaning up Darty as we look for a pause. I think there's going to be a pause going on.
This is indeed a pause. Could be tech, but judging by the circumstances that we're seeing right now, and considering that this has been the status quo for the past couple of mids, I think it's pretty clear that the mid fight wins in the previous match between these two teams that the Tub were occasionally getting to allow them to have a really close game versus Globalclan are 100% not present here, at least yet. And that is most certainly the big ticket here that they're going to have to change for the rest of the match if they really want to keep their head above water.
Now, I bring up the idea of tempo a lot when we're talking about 6 versus 6 in the game mode itself. When you see a team like Globalclan with the players they have, 2 very aggressive scouts, one going for a lot more flank pressure. You have an Uber a scout like Scratch who likes to take those aggressive Ubers through the chokes, leading those spearheading directly into the enemy combo, trying to get that early force or even some early kills with the Uber. With the tempo that they have with these rounds so far, only thing we need to think about is, are they going to be able to end out on a win off of the tempo that the Tub has been giving them? Or are they going to kind of cycle back, look for the easier win, maybe kind of hold out on playing too aggressive and feeding potentially players, losing those rounds like that? But in all honesty, I feel like the aggressive stance is always the better approach. So in this match, I would like to see more of that aggressiveness from Globalclan. But for the side of the Tub, I want to see aggressiveness kind of synced up a bit better. We have a lot of players going in on different timings, but they're not really on the same page. That mid looked promising at the beginning until they lost Aiden, they lost Indus. So there were just small little cracks not being filled for the side of the Tub. We just need to kind of find a way of counteracting those measures.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen them make attempts. Like, they haven't done mids exactly the same every single time. Like, there's been 5 mids at this point. The first 2, they tried to go the opposing side. The last 3, they've gone their own side. And their aggression has been on different targets. We've seen them full send for Yuna. We've seen them go straight up for the scouts. And then this one, you can see they were successful in taking the soldiers out of the equation, at least, making sure that they were dead. But so far, whatever they've achieved or not achieved, it's not getting the big kills, and it's also not keeping it. Well, sometimes Endust has been alive and they get to escape. But the big thing is, I don't think Yuna has really died on a singular mid. Maybe one, if my memory.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So that's the big thing. Is, I mean, that doesn't mean gun for Yuna, obviously. But like it's kind of telling that you're not able to create any sort of domino effect with the kills. So, but the mid fight has continued. It's 3v3. Blue will likely hold us and farm the enemy players, but they can make some errors potentially. Scratch is alone, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. But considering the heal advantage here, I don't know if Red's really long for the swirl. I mean, it is just a demo man, but you know, Anthony's here now, doing a little bit of a rotation. Blue team should be able to have control over this as long as they're a little bit careful. Red team is kind of scurrying away, that even though they have the cap time, they do not have the HP for this, so they'll have to go ahead and leave, as Indus is only spawning right, or only getting to 2 right now. So overall, blue team 100% over, 50% added is dwindling, and they do have to cap this all the way up, but they are in a position where they begin to make some moves and they're beginning to clear their way through the choke.
Yep, Industrial's trying to get that Uber the best he can with Nicholas as they try to go for some sort of sync on Globalclan. Great shot by Anthony to start this push up. Not really sure what's going on here. Aiden dying in the shutter. Yeah, I feel like he was there from the beginning. I feel like he was just in the shutter holding it by himself, but Anthony was able to find the pick with Penny. However, they're just keep kind of cycling feeds here as Scratch gets through balcony after the pick on the Jaden. However, Ubers are going to even out here. Are they going to be able to take an exchange healthy here? Exchanges happen. You didn't even use? I don't think you even has to use here. However, they do get the flash and then end up using with the 3-man Uber here just to kind of collect the kills wherever they can. There is a lot of picks to be gotten though. Bumble taking the 1v1 with Scratch and Water. However, Penny cleaning up house on Aiden and Jaden. Scratch winning the 1v1 on point to Bumba. And that's just going to be another round.
Attack. Yeah,
that's definitely an attack.
After a round like that, you gotta pause and be like, what's going on, guys? Like, that was really bad. Like that's not even a diss towards the tub. It's just like sometimes the other team just does you so dirty that you have to be like, hold on, what happened exactly? How do we make sure that doesn't happen again? And I guess we'll see what they cooked up. And they haven't won a mid yet. They really need to win when Aiden's going fast. I think Penny heard it early, and Penny just gets the kill. Penny has the volume turned all the way up. Anthony will die. Sandblast probably as well will die to fall damage, put some damage on Aiden. But overall, once again, Deja Vu, 4v5 scenario. Actually, player advantage. Oh, Penny going absolutely huge. I was about to say, wait, player advantage for the red team. Not anymore. Those pipes go across the map. Seal the deal. It's just Bumba who will hit an ornament onto Penny, but that will be a little bit of a farewell letter as he goes kind of back to his own side. Blue team, they have 100% win rate on the mids right now, and they might be sealing the deal here because they do have the Uberad to work with. Just have to wait for the respawners to go ahead and get here, get buffed up, pick a door, and get ready to roll out. And it's hard. You gotta lay it all out. If you were holding anything back, now's the time to let it free because this push is about to start.
Uber's gonna be 100% ad for Yuna here. Inda's not gonna probably get here like in the previous last hold attempts. Here, Yuna and team gonna have to try and take the Uber methodically here to end up the game in this regular match here, week 5. Take the Uber from Shutter, kind of a standard Uber like we saw previously through Shutter, kill the gun, spam out that right side spot, and Jaden we're gonna kill the kind of killing Scratch from Water. Regular occurrence going on there. Sandblast getting the pick up to Nicholas, Pineapple trading on Anthony, Jaden cleaning up Sandblast there even, and end up taking the Uber just to make sure his team edges out that win on this last hold. However, do they see Darty? They do see Darty. Pineapple kind of reading that game sense there by Darty. To go for the back half, he cleans up. Again, another defense for the side of the top that has been working very well. I feel like their defense chances are pretty high in this regular match here. Pineapple trying to get through Shutter. Does die though, unfortunately. Spammed out by Penny and Scratch. Doesn't look very good here, but Indus able to stay alive, and they are going to fight second, but we might see Globalclan attempt to re-peek onto the second point. While Sandblast is on Sniper here, but not looking like it.
Yeah, I don't know if they saw Sandblast in Big Door. Like, I saw the dot on the wall, but I don't know if they saw it because they had to, cap and look at the enemy and things like that. So we'll see if this is still a little bit of a surprise factor as, this stalemate going on. I mean, it's not really a stalemate. You can see the way they're posturing. They knew they had some sort of disad they needed to be wary of, and it seems like it's not going to be used. Especially with the sniper on the field, that's 100% going to be the ticket. But I think, yeah, Aiden sees the dot this time. He knows he's stuck inside lobby and has to rotate all the way around to get to his team as Sandblast poking around. So far, no choke pressure yet. It was attempted at one point. Darty's lingering back in case Anthony needs some extra help, but they were successful with the sniper play alone previously. And Sandblast, he's going on an adventure. He went through wood, and he's not even going through the lobby side in case they decide to poke through it. He's going all the way through last, up through river, and just going to peek from upper.
Is he going to hit it? Is he going to hit it?
Still Indus is dead.
Oh my goodness.
He's typing in chat. The Uber goes out. Nick is dead. Aiden is dead. Jaden will live in the choke, but it's just 2 soldiers versus the world. They're going in for it now. One last hurrah. The pipe connects. It's just Jaden behind. They know where Jaden is. They're kind of looking behind. Darty is left alone, and Jaden cannot find the timing as they run straight to last. Scratch trying to find a way there, but the respawners there. Careful. Gotta be wary of your life as they will go ahead and escape. Recognize that, can't be too ambitious here. They do have a giant ad to work off of. But overall, I mean, just when the tub clawed themselves out of this last, they find themselves straight back in it.
I've never seen a sniper go for that wide peek into the medic, just backing up right into him. And it would have been crazy if he missed the shot, but Samplas does not miss those. Gets the drop onto Indus. And we're gonna have advantage here again. Unit right on the dot here. They're gonna take it through Uber 3, 2, 1 shutter, and they do. No gun this time, just a sniper on the side of Bumba. And again, we're gonna know about the soldier playing water. Aiden dead. Who's taking on point here with Pineapple? Great time to distract here. Get the pick onto Scratch. Darty dying to Jade as the follow-up happens. Good cleanup coming out of Nicholas. Excuse me, Nicholas and Indus as they Uber. Will he overchase here? Maybe get the medic pick. There is chance to do it. However, Sandblast is trying to jump behind and get on the point. Does he get on the point? Deny the point. He does actually kill him on point. Nicholas, great salvage. Great Uber kind of mishap there, but cleaning up the kills that matter the most to secure the round holds a little bit longer. But yeah, our unit does have a little bit of advantage. They're not building that great, so actually it might just even out, and we're going to be stuck on second once more.
I don't know if they go for this ad, considering the time. Like, if they send someone in water early and then do a river push right after. Look, Anthony's there.
Sandblast on Spy, actually. Sandblast on Spy.
GG. Oh, he went so early, though. Okay, that's too early. That's a little, you know, now it's, yeah, now it's on
It could be strategic. It could be strategic, actually, because they won't know about the Spy off class, potentially.
I mean,
we're not sure.
Maybe. I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, Darty's going in, causing it. Let's run right next to Sandblast and get him found. Dude.
That's unfortunate. Oh,
okay,
no.
Sandblast he's fine in the corner.
Oh, he's going to look for it right now as Anthony gets the buff. Definitely doesn't find the time, and there's no chance of time one Spy can cap under 6 players, hopefully. And Jane is on Spy, or might be able to find Sandblast on Spy, but this could be something they miss. Maybe miss, not too sure. I'm assuming they know.
They saw it with Sandblast on Spy twice in a row. They're like, it wasn't a different player. He might actually be on Spy. Yeah. Well, the Pyro's good in general just because it's good spam and reflecting and things like that. But extra layer in case, you know, might be a real Spy there. But River is the door of choice from the side of Globalclan, at least for now, to try to make some noise. And Sandblast is trying to find an opportunity to walk up these stairs, get behind someone. But he might just have to go for some sort of point play himself, or maybe walk around the ring. It seems like his entry of choice. But eventually, you're going to get paranoid, like, why are they not doing anything? No one's going water, nothing's happening. He's found his way over, no one's turning around. No one turned when he was on Sniper. Will they turn when he's on Spy? He goes in for the sap play. No one's going in. Okay, Anthony's finally going in. He will have to use. They also sent Crash over to the point at the same time. And giving up 2 for the Force, not bad. You still have the Spy alive, though. Where is Sandblast even?
He's on the crate of the left spawn, kind of waiting in the corner. He could get a stab again, but they're not going to clear it. They're not going to clear it. He could cloak randomly in this push and get a pick onto maybe Aiden, maybe Indus. We've noted Aiden becoming a pick here has kind of secured the Globalclan the round after they pushed those last pushes. So if he can kill Aiden in this last hold with advantage, it's just going to be GG in my opinion. But we're going to have to see how Sandblast takes it. He's playing in secret now, rotating away from the spawn, it looks like. So I'm kind of unsure what plan he has here. But any pick here is good while they take the ad through River. Yuna and Co. coming through River, getting the gun initially. Gonna end on that right side spawn as per usual.
Oh, he almost had the heavy.
He almost had the heavy, does not get it. Oh, heavy is gonna be a pick though, potentially. No heals on him. Darty looking to kill him. Yep, Darty gets a pick. Doesn't get any more trades though, but 3 versus 4. Oh, he gets the pineapple. Oh no!
With a huge one in the last second.
Oh my
goodness. He was biding his time, finding the perfect moment. Didn't get the stab he wanted, but still found one and 2 revolvers at the end of the day. Pulling out all the plays, the off-classing prowess coming to fruition. A 5-1 victory in favor of Globalclan.
What a fun match to watch. I mean, Sandblast on those off-class timings towards the end of the match is creating a show for everyone to see. Man, when you see Sandblast on an off-class, there's always something that's going to happen every time. I mean, that was a great off-class sniper on that drop onto Indus and that 3K on Spy at the end of the game. Stabbing the Spy, unfortunate, or stabbing the Heavy was a little bit unfortunate, but he does get the cleanup anyways onto 3 other players. So great rounds, great plays. A 5-1 victory for the side of Globalclan. GG. That was it. We have some correct score guessers in the chat, and I mean, honestly, that match could have gone either way. It was really unfortunate. The mids were won. I think there was only one mid that the tub won. The tub won. It was 1 to 5 roughly, right? So without that mid control, it was very hard to kind of play the map. They didn't really get the peak out of their mid holds that much. Once they did get the mid control, it was kind of a fast recap. Indus was able to kind of live a lot in that game, keeping the Ubers pretty much even, but even through that, there was just not enough defense to kind of hold out against the side of Globalclan's off-class and Sacks. It was just a lot of kind of tempo pressure we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there were signs of life from the side of the tub. Were they able to claw their way through a couple of points. But at the end of the day, when you do in this back and forth gameplay in general, even if they didn't necessarily have the flashier gameplay near the tail end of things, you can't really play the game that efficiently when you just start on your own side of the map that often. I mean, we said in the earlier portion of the match when we were referencing the previous matchup on Gully Wash, you know, back then even though they lost most of the mids, they still won at least like 30 or 40% to allow them to have opportunities to do the transitions that they were comfortable with. But here, they felt like they hardly ever had an opportunity to do a real transition. It was all just stalemates. Stalemates on last or stalemates on their own too. I think they held mid like once, really, to attempt to try to do something, and then it didn't really work. So completely different environment to work off of, and any adjustment that they would have made in regards to like, the main reason why we lost the previous match was because we failed a bunch of last pushes, and if we would have won those, then we would have been able to win the previous match. So let's address those. I don't think they even got an opportunity to poke at the enemy last even once, and that's just the way cookie crumbles. There's so much of a map to try to nail down that the thing that you could address and put focus on and practice, especially when it comes to like specific strats, like in hard counter strats, that you might just play a match where you don't run into those scenarios at all, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, you review a lot of the strats before the game starts, and like you said, you just don't get to put any of that into play. And I feel like the biggest deterring factor there was those mid fights. Even if they kind of did talk about mids are kind of a core focal point for a lot of teams to kind of discuss moving forward into match settings. It didn't really seem like they had much of a plan going into it, maybe because they were missing a soldier in the side of Alexandros. However, Jaden was playing well as a substitute player for Alexandros. There was just not enough counter pressure going on for the side of the tub onto Globalclan. And if we're taking a look at the logs here, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. Rather, Penny, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but Penny top damaging overall, lowest amount of deaths, pairing to the side of Yuna. And if you see a demo and a meta kind of having the same amount of deaths, that just means they're staying alive together. They're not getting picked off at the same time. They're dying either separately, potentially, or just at the end of the last push, which there was a lot of last push in this game for the side of Globalclan. Maybe they just kind of lost out towards the end of those. But that was a great performance for those mids. I was very excited to see Anthony finally play those mids. He always guaranteed those first picks. I always see him get those first picks, either onto Aiden or just to get some cleanup damage onto a scout. It was magnificent to watch.
Yep. And with this victory, Globalclan, even though I think there's enough matches left remaining that you can't say technically they are safe for avoiding the 4th seed, and they're going to be at least 3rd seed. But I think because of the remaining matches, it's realistically this victory has allowed them to make sure that they are at least 3rd seed. And even if they did better, it's still 2nd seed, so it's still the same matchup, right? So you can have an idea of who their opponent might be and things of that nature. So these two teams obviously were never going to be facing each other in round 1 of playoffs, but who knows, maybe your opponent will dictate if you go upper bracket or lower bracket for the first round. So that's always an important factor. So that's at least for in viewers' eyes, even though not in the standings quite yet in terms of numbers, the place is pretty solidified, so got to be happy about that. They get an opportunity to probably, I would imagine, face, I think most people would kind of expect the second team to be Witness Gaming, Zhao. But I think they, as well as Froyotech, have actually not played their matches quite yet to solidify who's seed 1 and who's seed 2. I think that's later on, like next week, a doubleheader or something like that. So that'll be fun to watch, and we get to see who lands where in that regard as well. And that will also solidify things numbers-wise. But overall, it's potentially a sneak peek of what's to come to playoffs, depending on how the cards fall.
I'm kind of curious to see if they repick Gully Wash into that head-to-head, if they do end up getting to that head-to-head based on if Globalclan is able to kind of edge it a win against some of these other teams in their next seeding match for playoffs. But nonetheless, it's going to be up to them for each team. Do you have any shouts to give for tonight, Jarrett?
Shout out to the teams for playing, and for you, XL, for hopping in last second because TC couldn't make it. And shout out to all the viewers for watching.
Yep, it was a great watch. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight here in our mini-season of RGL Invite 6's Week 5A versus the Tub and Globalclan. Like Jarrett said, I'm just stepping in, but I was happy to see all of you and lots of people watching the stream. Thanks for showing up tonight. And no shouts from me, but take care, everyone.
All right, we think there's more matches tomorrow and plenty more next week, as even though playoffs are kicking off for main, I think Invite as 6 weeks in total, as we're week 5 right now. So there's still more action to go through. Plenty of good stuff. I think it's a lot of Freo and a lot of Witness Gaming Zhao, so definitely if you want to see them play, you will definitely be in for a treat over the next 10 or so days. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on where those matches exactly land and when we go live. But for tonight, that'll be it for us. I've been Jarrett, casting with Exile with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.